Yo, what's good YouTube Jibble? We're back with another video. And in my last video, you guys saw I went 10-0 in the Bronze Common event, and I ended up getting Jim Rice and McCutcheon. So lots of you wanted to know, like what was my team looking like? How did I do that? So today I'm not only going to show you the team I used for that, but I'm going to show you pretty much the best bronzes in the game to use either, for the event going on, for the Bronze Common event, or just for general, for your team if you want to use these players. So I'm just going to go by the positions, and kind of like I did with the silvers, best silvers, budget players. So be sure to check that one out. But today is the bronze players. So I'm going to start with the catcher, and at catcher, you're going to want to use, where is he? Oh, I have to sort by bronzes, one sec. Yeah, so you're going to want to use either Cervelli for lefties, and then versus righties, you're going to want to use Schwarber. I use Schwarber, but you're going to want to work on like a platoon. So Schwarber versus righties, he kills them with his power. I have a ton of home runs with him. And then versus lefties, you're going to want to use Cervelli. So you could just have them both. I started Schwarber, but then sometimes I substituted Cervelli. So yeah, that's who you're going to want to use. And then first base, there's a couple players here. Chris Carter is really good. If he has good inside edge and they make his contact a little better, his power, is just like insane. So 99 power versus righties, you can just throw him in there and power swing and you're fine. But I like to use Adam Lind. With his inside edge versus righties, he gets crazy stats. Like he gets in the 90s contact and in the 70s or 80s for power versus righties. So versus righties, I like to use him. Or you could use Carter for the power, but up to you. And there's one more I threw in here, Mitch Moreland. He's kind of similar to Adam Lind. If he has good inside edge, he could be really deadly versus righties. So I threw him in there as well. Second base, we have Joe Panic first. I didn't use him, but he has good stats, and with inside edge, he has really great contact. So you could use him, but who I used actually was Colton Wong. He has a little more speed, and he had some really good inside edge the other day. So he was in like 70s contact, I think, and he's a good player. So you could use him, Joe Panic. Those are some good lefties. A kind of underrated card, a righty who's all the way down here, but he's actually decent. Phil Gosselin, 75 contact both sides, and he's a righty. So if you want to have him on your bench or whatever, he could be good. Or if you need to, if you're close to the max overall and you have to use someone lower, you could squeeze in Gosselin. He's decent. Third base, there's some really good ones. Jake Lamb, he's a beast. He already has 79 power, so with inside edge, like right now, he has like 78 contact, 88 power versus righties. That's pretty deadly. I actually use, it's surprising, I use Trevor Plouffe, because he had good inside edge and he was really good. He had really good contact, and so I like him. He's actually pretty good if you want to use him. And there's also, just for lefties, Valencia, because you see he starts out 89 contact versus lefties. So versus lefties, you can use him or have him on your bench. Now we're moving quickly through here. Shortstop, who I use, who is like the best one, the best bronze shortstop by far, Oedmus Diaz. He starts out with great contact already and great vision, so he's really good. I recommend him for sure. Another really good one that's similar, Escobar. He has even better contact and even better vision, but I like Oedmus a little better. But Escobar is really good too at shortstop. And then another one I have on here is, where is he? Yeah, Trevor Story. You see he has great power, but I'd only recommend him if he got a little inside edge boost for his contact. If he could get in the 70s for contact, then I think he's a great option because of his power. But yeah, so moving on to the outfield, there's some other great options here. Who I use, who's the best one, I think he was up to 84 overall with inside edge. Corey Dickerson, he was in like the 90s for power and contact, so he was really great. I had like 2 home runs with him. Yeah, I was really good with him. So use him if he has good inside edge versus righties. He's really good. Another one is Benintendi, I didn't use him, but he's only gonna get better. So if he has a boost to his contact, then he's a great option. And another kind of underrated guy for like a leadoff spot, Ben Revere. He's kind of like a speedy guy, and he has some really good contact too. So you could use him for like a leadoff spot or whatever. You see, he has like 92 contact right now, so 93 speed as well. That's really good. And then center field, we have a ton of players here. So who I actually use, who I kind of regret, Curtis Granderson, because his contact was boosted, but I figured out there's some better players. Because if you look at Granderson, I haven't used Jock Peterson, but he's pretty much the same Curtis Granderson, just more power. So I would recommend Jock Peterson. I haven't used him. I use Granderson, but he looks good. And then also, who do you have here? Oh, Franklin Gutierrez. He's a lefty monster, and he has great power. So he has 91 power both ways, but 77 contact versus lefties. So if you're facing a lefty, I definitely recommend Gutierrez. He's a beast, and also he's a great center fielder. He has great arm strength, so he's a really good player. But yeah, Granderson and Jock Peterson, they're pretty similar, but versus righties, I'd recommend them. They're really good. Now right field, there's a bunch of players here. Matt Kemp, he's for lefties, he's good. I wouldn't put him in versus righties, but for versus lefties, I'd recommend him. Actually, we have 3 players for lefties. Matt Kemp, Steven Piscotty, and Yasmani Tomas are all good versus lefties. I'd say Tomas has the best stats, and he has a really good arm too, so I'd recommend him the most versus lefties. But then versus righties, Nomar Mazara, he's great. Look at those stats and that power. But he's just one way. He's just versus righties. So you can maybe platoon him with like Yasmani Tomas or something. And then David Peralta also versus righties. 89 contact and then 59 power. But look, he has 99 contact right now versus inside edge. And it's like 72 power versus righties. So that's great. You could platoon him or Mazzara with, one Kemp, Piscotty, and Thomas, one of those 3. But then the player I use in right field to get 10 wins, Carlos Beltran. I think he was up to like 80 overall, and I really liked him because he's a switch hitter, and his stats started out good at like all around 70 for contact and power, but he was up to like mid 70s, high 70s. So I knew like versus a lefty versus a righty, contact and power, he was really solid both ways. So I really liked him. I actually had a lot of hits with him. Let's see, 3 hits and 8 at bats. Yeah, so all 3 of my hits were home runs and 8 at bats. So he was my right fielder. I really liked him. And then, but what am I doing? Yeah, so for starting pitchers, there's not really, I don't really have suggestions, because basically just fill out the whole lineup with players like I told you, the hitters I told you, and then let's say, because you have an 80 overall cap, I think, or 79 overall, so let's say you're like 78 overall and you have room to spare, then you could try to put in good pitchers, but basically just put in as good of pitchers as you can without going over the cap. But don't make pitchers your priority. Just after you're done with the rest of your team, see what your overall is at, and then depending on what it is, either take out pitchers and put in lower overalls or put in high overalls, and just basically I just like messed around and tried to put in the best rotation I could without going over the cap. So there's not really great pitcher suggestions. I mean, like, I'll give you guys a couple, like Trevor Bauer, he's good, Bartolo Colon, Taijuan Walker, they're all decent, but I mean, there's not really, it's kind of like Battle Royale, there's not really good pitchers you have to worry about. And then bullpen, I mean, I'll be honest, for the most part, I just did like the highest overall bullpen guys. I didn't really pay attention that much, but some good ones that I like to use, Felipe Rivero, he has good inside edge. He's a really good lefty guy. He has a good wind up and good pitches. And also, let's see, Tyler Clippard, he's good. Zach Duke is a good lefty as well. Casilla, he's decent. Derek Waugh, they're good. Carl Edwards, Justin Wilson is a good lefty. I mean, that's pretty much it. I like I said, I didn't really focus on the bullpen too much. I focus on my hitters mostly. So hopefully you guys, you know, enjoy this, and if you want, you can take my advice, because I went 10-0 with those players, and they were actually really good. I might want to use them more, because they're actually fun to use. But hope you guys enjoy, and that helped you guys out. Be sure to leave a like if so, and comment if you have any other suggestions, or if you have any other players who you think deserve, you know, that should have been mentioned. Any good bronze players, be sure to comment it and let me know. And if you're new here on this video, please subscribe. It really helps me out, and I really appreciate it. And I'll see you guys later. It's Shea Baller. I'm out. Peace.
Always say congratulations. Work so hard, forgot how to vacation.